Dinosaurs have been a staple of cinema for over a century now, and to say it's evolved is an understatement. I mean, look at the T-Rex alone. He firstly started off looking like this, a tall, upright creature with his arms at its side. And nowadays, we have a much more historically accurate T-Rex, slouched over, tail in the air, and arms hanging down. And dinosaur movies have changed drastically, from simple clay stop motions to complex dinosaur battles in CGI. No matter how long we live on this planet, we will always be drawn to the mystical world of dinosaurs. But being the greedy creatures we are, we wanted more. More teeth, more violence, more blood. So we strayed away and made monsters. Freakish beasts that this world has never seen before. And today we're taking two of the most recognizable beasts from either category and putting them into the ring. As from a couple videos ago, today we'll be upscaling my Indominus Rex with a Skullcrawler video, as we will discuss and break down a battle between Skull Island's Ramorak and Ice Age's Rudy, throwing them into a ring to answer the question: monster versus dinosaur, reality versus fiction, the Skull Devil versus Rudy. Who would win? On one end of the ring we have the prehistoric terror, coming in at roughly 53 feet tall and about 135 feet long, weighing in at about 80 tons, with his razor-sharp claws, protective osteoderms, and jagged teeth. We have Rudy, and he is one absolute unit of a dinosaur, coming in on the other end at 95 feet tall, 194 feet long, and weighing in at 100 tons. With her will to keep fighting, sharp teeth, and prehensile tail, we have Ramorak. You do not want to be face-to-face with her. Hello everyone, it's your host Goji Guy, and today we are pinning two of the most lethal beasts into a ring to see who will come out on top. So, before we get started, we need to cover a few things for the context of this fight. Firstly, I was surprised to find that Rudy doesn't really have that many feats. So for a lot of his stuff, we'll be taking feats from other dinosaurs in Ice Age 3 and applying them to Rudy, as, well, you know, he's the strongest. And we will also have to assume some stuff for Rudy, such as his 80-ton weight earlier, as Rudy doesn't have a given weight, so that was just my guess. But when it comes to categories such as IQ and speed, he really doesn't have much to go off of. And more or less the same rules will be applied to the Skull Devil. We can use feats from the smaller skull crawlers and apply them to Ramorak, and of course Ramorak's feats herself. When it comes to what we'll be using, we're using only their on-screen feats. So for Rudy, that means stuff from Ice Age 3 and 4, and for the Skull Devil, that means stuff from Kong Skull Island and Skull Island the anime. And then, I mean, if there's really anything important in the comics, we'll go over it, but I doubt it. So now, what categories will we be covering? Well, today they're fighting for strength, speed, durability, IQ, battle intelligence, agility, and abilities. So with that being said, let's dive in. Starting with strength. So let's start with a new competitor, Rudy. As we said, we're going to cover some other dinosaur feats firstly, and then move on to Rudy himself, starting with Mama Rex. She shows just 24 minutes into the movie that just from walking, she was able to shake the ground enough to make the other animals think there was an earthquake going on. Now, granted, this feat is iffy, as she only does this once when she's first being introduced in the movie, and then this ability throughout the rest of the film is unseen. So it's more of just kind of, you know, like a hype moment in the movie. But she was able to knock down trees from just walking into them. She was later able to lift a massive rock to reveal Sid and her kids. Or, well, Sid's kids, or their kids? I don't know. Let me know who you think they belong to in the comments. Now, doing a rough guess, this rock is seemingly 10 by 2 by 26 feet in size. Having ChatGPT do the math, that would come out to about 42.9 tons, and she was able to casually grab and lift this. Again, though, it's not 100% sure that Rudy could pull this off, as his jaw is built different, but moving on. We see that the Brachii is able to hold Manny, Ellie, and Diego's weight, which all three would come out to around 21.1 tons. Now, I didn't hold them all at once, but given how unbothered it was by any of them, it's safe to say it could. Now into Rudy's feats. We see he is easily able to crush logs, and he's able to break the ground with a single stomp. But there is some context needed. I know, I keep saying but this, but that, blah, 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 blah. But really, both these guys have a lot of feats that need context. Now, I've seen people use this as a grand feat for Rudy, but I'm convinced they just stopped watching right here, as well, this happened right after. We see is a very thin layer of rock, being a top solid layer above the lava river. We also see in the climax of the film, he was able to break through a cave wall, which again, I've seen hyped up to him breaking a mountain, which just, no. He just broke the outer layer of a cave, which begs the question, how did he get in? Anyways. And his final feat is being able to break the top of the ground with a single tail swipe. Now, while it is just the top of the ground, it is still a very impressive feat, as you can just see how much damage has been dealt to the ground with this single swipe. Now onto Ramorak, but again starting with the skull crawlers. Now the skull crawlers, as we see, are able to break through a massive Triceratops skull, Triceratops being known for their harder skulls. But that's where the crawlers' feats end, so onto the devil. We see that she is easily able to overpower Kong. Granted, Kong was weak, but being able to knock down the 158-ton Kong is no easy task. we see that she, like Mama Rex, is able to shake the ground, and she can knock over trees with ease. We see her overpower Kong's arm with just her tongue. And of course her most well-known feat, being able to throw Kong with just her tail. So this is close. While Rudy has more feats overall, Remorak just has a higher class of weights. So the winner for strength is the Skull Devil. Now into speed. Yeah, it's Remorak. Rudy is just barely able to keep up with mammoths. Well, the Skullcrawler can pull off stunts like this, so yeah, Remorak takes it. Next up is durability. Now Rudy has a few feats here. As said in the strength part, he was able to walk through a part of a cave wall with ease, and show no signs of discomfort. But onto some actual feats, he was able to withstand being slammed into by Mama Rex. And dude, get her in the NFL, good lord. And despite the beating he took, he didn't show much damage, if any at all. And his most well-known feat being the fact that we hear his roar at the end of the film, and later see him in Ice Age 4, showing that he not only survived this insane fall, but didn't really take any visible damage at all. Which is wild given how deep this cave is. But there is an issue. He, like the Skull Devil, as you'll see in a moment, is pretty inconsistent. While surviving all these incredible feats, he did get a tooth knocked out by a freaking weasel. To those who don't know, a fully grown male weasel weighs in between 1 to 3 pounds. So, yeah, it's pretty iffy at the least. Now into Remorak. But again, start with the Skull Crawlers. They are completely unharmed by gunfire, or at least guns from the 70s. They are semi-fire resistant, or at least on their outer skin, but not what we said, that being the iffiness. Being able to get cut into by a katana. Granted, it was unfazed, but still, that's not a good look. But now, onto the big one. Remorak is one tough cookie, being slammed into by a boulder, a tree, and a whole freaking mountain. She's able to withstand plain gunfire with ease, and only got slightly irritated from a flare exploding in her eye. But again, like the smaller skull crawlers, she is vulnerable to sharper objects, getting her neck sliced and getting an anchor stuck in her shoulder. Now, granted, she did just walk both attacks off, but given Rudy's claws and teeth, it isn't a good look for Remorak here. So, who takes it? Well, it would be a tie, as they both have really impressive feats, but given the Skullcrawler's one weakness is sharp things, and, well, Rudy has a lot of sharp things at his disposal, just barely the winner goes to Rudy. Now onto IQ, who is smarter? And, well, Rudy doesn't really have much here either. I mean, the only thing he really shows is he's able to hold a grudge against Buck, remembering that he took his tooth out and all that, but I mean, that's about it. He's seemingly able to track, sort of, maybe? And I mean, the best thing we have for him is this concept art right here, showing that he can show emotions, but we're trying to stray away from that, just film stuff, so it's kind of iffy and up to you. But not to Remorak. Remorak is just an older, wiser Skullcrawler, and the crawlers aren't dumb by any means, being able to work in a team and attack strategically, even if it doesn't work out. And they're able to hide amongst their surroundings. And now moving on to the Devil. She was able to resist her literal only body urge, that being to eat. And rather than eating this guy right here, she was able to overpower and resist the urge, and break down the situation, and ultimately decide this guy is unsafe to eat, flapping him away into a cliff. So when it comes to IQ, the Skull Devil takes it. Next up is Battle Intelligence. Who's more prepared for this fight? Now Rudy is seen in his film as the strongest and most dangerous dinosaur. Now normally this would be a good thing, as we can assume he's pretty much fought everything. But there is an issue. He's in fact so feared, nothing even wants to be near him. So any prey that he hunts down probably don't even fight back. So he can't say for 100% certainty that he has fought many dinos down there. But even if he did, they don't stack up to the nightmares that inhabit Skull Island. Now into the Skull Devil. And yeah, we can say with confidence that she has fought a wide range of animals on Skull Island, as even some things small as leaf wings are willing to throw hands with wart dogs. And it's not even including the Hollow Earth, as the Skullcrawlers could just go down there whenever they want, but like Rudy, it's not 100% certain if they have. As to my knowledge, it hasn't been stated anywhere that they have gone to the Hollow Earth to fight things, so yeah. But the Skullcrawler has at least fought Kong, Skyr Buffaloes, and seems to prey on Spore Mantises, and some have even taken on the fully grown Kongs. So with ease, Battle Intelligence goes to Remorak. Next up is Agility. Now, don't get me wrong, Rudy is agile, being able to spin around quickly in a battle, and is able to use his tail to hit his targets from a long distance. And in terms of normal dinosaurs, Rudy is far beyond the average agility, but he's up against Remorak here. So, yeah. The Skullcrawlers are built for this, being able to fully turn around in less than a second, are able to make great leaps, and they're just built for speed and agility. Pretty easily, the Skull Devil takes it. And finally, his abilities. Who has a better arsenal on the battlefield? And, well, Rudy has nothing. On to Remorak. The Skull Devils are well known for their prehensile tongues and tails, allowing them to attack from afar and helps them overpower their foes. They also have vocal mimicry, which is pretty much where they can imitate human voices, which won't really be effective against Rudy. On the other hand, Skullcrawlers have shown that they can hunt and stalk their prey, being very quiet when they need to be. And other than that, they're overall just really hard to kill, either needing to be completely disemboweled or blow them up. So pretty easily, the winner for abilities goes to the Skullcrawler. So with all our points gathered up, who takes what? Well, we have a score of 6-1. Remorak takes strength, speed, IQ, battle intelligence, agility, and abilities, and Rudy takes durability. Barely. Yeah. Now, it's not as bad as a beatdown as you may think, as Rudy could take many hits, and dish out some good ones as well, most likely being able to cut into Remorak. But overall, thanks to her superior, well, everything, Remorak wins this fight with low to mid difficulty. And don't even bring up Scratch surviving a black hole and all that. That's... don't even. So, yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think Rudy should win? And did I miss any info? Let me know in the comments below. But, as always, be respectful and all that. Anyway, sending in my diehard fans, hold on real quick. A little channel update, sorta. I should hopefully get a video up next week, but I will be busy with IRL stuff, so I can't really promise a video next week. But hopefully it will get up, so keep your hopes up. But as always, keep collecting. Goji Guy out. See ya.